everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Our Leaders, Our Inspiration. So I'm so happy because here with me today I have the honor of being with Bapak Jauhari Oratmangun, Ambassador of Indonesia to the People's Republic of China and Mongolia. So, hello Bapak.
Hey,
How are you?
Shannon, how are you? I'm doing great. Nice to meeting you here.
Nice to meet you again, Bapak.
Senang bisa jumpa dengan one of the best singer in Indonesia.
Oh, amen. Thank you so much, Pak. First of all, I would like to say terima kasih banyak, Bapak, for your time. Karena
Pleasure.
I know that Bapak is very, very busy, and I heard that you're going back to China tomorrow.
Yes, I'm going back to China tomorrow. I've been spending like 5 days here in Jakarta and Bali.
Oh, may I know what event you had in Bali yesterday?
In Bali, I was asked to deliver a speech on the electric vehicle conference. This is one of the future industry in Indonesia.
Wow. And so you're going back tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going back tomorrow. A lot of things I have to do
Yes.
in China for the next couple of days.
Yes.
And then after that, I'm going to New York for the United Nations General Assembly, and then to Europe, and then return to Beijing.
Okay. I would like to ask you more about United Nations because it's actually one of my dreams. to
Oh,
work in
good,
United
good,
Nations.
good.
So maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, why not? I spent 21 years at the United Nations.
Yes, and that is why it's such an honor for me to have
All
you
right.
today. So maybe I would like to start with the first question. So basically, my podcast is based on education.
Oh, great.
So I would like to ask about education system in China because I think now, especially in my generation, Gen Z, now if we hear the word education, I think everyone's eyes are focused to China. So may I ask about the education system there in China?
I think this is the one of priority in China. They started to open. They call it opening policy to the world, and then they start with the strengthening of the education, research and development. That's the reason why China itu sekarang maju sangat cepat, because they concentrate more on education at the early stage of the opening up policy, education, research and development. So now if you look at the result, some of the universities in China sudah menjadi leading university in the world, like Tsinghua University, Peking University, Xinjiang University, etc. So more and more Indonesian students now pursuing their higher education in China as well, because they can learn a lot from China, innovation technology, international trade, because Chinese, they're very good in trading.
Yes.
So these are the things that many Indonesian students now going there for higher education.
May I know how the government supports the education in China? I think there are a lot of
a lot.
scholarships.
Not only sponsorship, but if you look at the budget, national budget,
Yes.
and then R&D education is number one
Oh, in the world.
in the budget.
And the
Budget of the People Republics of China, research and development, education is number one, not the other sector of the development. Jadi pendidikan, penelitian itu mendapat porsi yang besar di anggaran pemerintah China. Nah, this is refleksi daripada priority in China. So they put highest priority on education and research and development.
Oh, I see. So the government supports education not only for universities but also for high school?
Yes, for the high school, starting from the elementary school, junior high, high school, and of course university. And then not only university, but we call it sekolah kejuruan. Sekolah kejuruan itu bahasa Inggrisnya vocational training.
Oh,
Vocational training, because di industri selain higher education, PhD, master degree, first degree, kan perlu ada middle man yang menyelenggarakan hal-hal yang sifatnya teknis. Biasanya skills, biasanya itu yang graduated from vocational training. That's the reason, vocational training education. That's the reason why now we Indonesia, we are trying to establish good cooperation on vocational training as well.
Oh, so that's the partnership between Indonesia and China.
Right. We established a good cooperation between Indonesia and China on education sector, not only at the university level, but at the vocational training as well. Because like anak-anak muda yang bikin barcode, yang menjalankan mesin-mesin di pabrik, itu kan lulusan, they are graduated from vocational training. Kalau di kita bisa sebut vocational training, bisa juga program-program D3 di universitas.
Ya, D3, D4.
Ya, kurang lebih seperti itu. So they are putting a lot of attention or priority on that sector as well.
Oh, I think that's so great, and I think Indonesia should.
We are moving forward in that direction as well, within the context of the cooperation with China.
I see. So I think other than China, I think not many people know about the education system in Mongolia. So may I ask about?
Oh yes, they are moving forward as well. They put priority as well on education. I think this is the lesson learned. Most of the countries now put education and research and development as a priority in their budget. It's happening in Indonesia as well. Kalau lihat di Indonesia kan porsi di anggaran APBN ya, kalau anggaran kita, anggaran negara itu porsi besar juga kita berikan kepada education. Jadi I think Mongolia, China, before China I was ambassador in Russia. Russia put priority as well on education, research and development. Other countries in Europe as well. So this is not only priority for Indonesia or China or Mongolia, but other countries. Karena menurut hemat saya, education itu akan membuka horizon kita sehingga kita siap untuk either menemukan hal-hal baru atau juga memperluas cara pandang kita, then we can contribute to the development of our beloved country.
Yes, I totally agree that education is very important, especially for the future of our country.
Yes.
May I know what is the biggest challenge when it comes to education in China and in Mongolia?
I think the biggest challenge is how to get the attention of anak-anak untuk pursue education up to the higher level, and in particular itu dia sejalan dengan prioritas negaranya dan juga a future development. And then it has to be adapted as well with the global situation. Jadi sistem pendidikan yang bisa mentransformasikan bangsa tersebut menjadi bangsa yang membangun, berarti anak-anak didik yang sejalan dengan pemikiran tersebut dan sejalan juga dengan perkembangan tatanan ekonomi global, tatanan politik global. Nah, tantangannya ada di sana, dan saya kira, and I think that China is going in that directions, because since the opening up policy itu kebijakan membuka China kurang lebih 42-43 tahun lalu itu telah membuat China bisa berkembang pesat seperti saat ini. Education play a cardinal role. Education, research and development.
Yeah. Dan saat ini, as you mentioned earlier, I think the university in China is one of the best in the world.
Yes. Some of them already, like let me mention universities such as Tsinghua University. Now number 12 in the world and number 1 in Asia. Peking University as well, maybe number 2 in Asia or number 3 in Asia, and then number 20 something in the world, and other universities as well. So karena itulah banyak sekarang anak muda Indonesia yang juga mulai belajar di Tiongkok. Before COVID, we have more than 15,000 Indonesian students
per year
in China. Before COVID, that's 2019. But due to the COVID, beberapa kembali. Now mereka sudah kembali lagi. So I think Indonesian students in China now it's around close to 10,000. So I hope that it will reach 15,000 or 60,000 like we used to have it before COVID maybe in the 1 or 2 years to come. Siapa tahu Shannon juga berminat. Why not? Come, get something in China.
Yes, I've ever considered about continuing my
Yes.
education in China because actually, Pak, a lot of my friends are continuing their education
Yes,
already in China.
yes. And then di organisasi pelajar di sana di Tiongkok itu termasuk organisasi pelajar Indonesia di luar negeri yang they are very active.
Oh.
They are very active in China as well as in the PPI. Jadi itu Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia Dunia. Jadi mahasiswa-mahasiswa Indonesia di Tiongkok cukup aktif.
Oh, I see. Okay, now that we know about the education system in China and Mongolia, I actually would like to ask about your education background.
Oh, my education background.
Yes, because I think a lot of the young generations always think to be successful in the future, you have to go study abroad or have to have all these facilities. So maybe I would like to ask about your education background. Did you go to school in Indonesia or?
Let me explain that because
Yes.
I'm coming from the very small island in Maluku. Saya berasal dari Pulau Tanimbar, a very small island, Tanimbar Island in the province of Maluku, eastern part of Indonesia. Jadi saya menyelesaikan SMA saya itu di kota Ambon. Lalu selesai SMA, saya melanjutkan ke Universitas Gadjah Mada. Nah, kenapa saya sangat bercita-cita menjadi diplomat? Karena sewaktu kecil, sewaktu saya SD, SMP, SMA, saya ingin sekali keluar negeri. Ingin sekali, tidak tahu saya pingin sekali. Lalu waktu itu, zaman itu buat kami di Maluku saat itu, saya itu terpesona misalnya dengan pemain bola Indonesia saat itu asal Maluku, Roni Pati Nasrani yang bisa bertanding di luar negeri. Terus kemudian ada juga petinju juara Asian Games namanya Wim Gomis. Jadi saya berlatih tinju juga supaya bisa keluar negeri. Ayah saya dan ibu yang guru yang mengarahkan bahwa if you want to go to abroad begitu ke luar negeri, itu ada satu bidang juga adalah menjadi diplomat. Lalu saya dikasih bacaan oleh ayah saya mengenai kehidupan diplomat di markas besar PBB di New York. Waktu itu duta besarnya Dr. almarhum Ruslan Abdul Ghani. Itu sangat inspiratif, meaning that if you read a lot of things or your habit is reading, then you can get some benefits or inspirational things out of your reading. Itu yang tulisan dari wartawan namanya Tresnio di Kompas mengenai kehidupan itu. Lalu itu sangat inspired me. So I went ask my dad that I have to go to the university atau fakultas yang kemudian saya bisa menjadi diplomat. Karena itulah saya ke Universitas Gadjah Mada, ikut tes dan diterima di sana. Di Fakultas Ekonomi, di Fakultas Ekonomi UGM, bukan hubungan internasional, karena lulusan ekonomi pun bisa menjadi diplomat. Jadi saya diterima, lulus, kemudian lulus saya melamar ke Kementerian Luar Negeri, kemudian ikut pendidikan diplomat di Kementerian Luar Negeri. Tugas pertama saya adalah ke persidangan PBB di Wina. Lalu kemudian pada tahun 1986 saya ditempatkan sebagai diplomat Indonesia yang bertugas di Perutusan Tetap Indonesia untuk Perserikatan Bangsa-Bangsa di New York. Kan your dreams comes true within less than 10 years. Because when I was reading the inspirational article on the life of the diplomats at the United Nations, less than 10 years after, saya sudah bertugas di PBB sebagai diplomat muda Indonesia. Kan senang, jadi sejak itulah saya kemudian bertugas, 3 kali saya bertugas di Perutusan Tetap Indonesia di PBB, kemudian jadi direktur, jadi wakil duta besar di Belanda, jadi duta besar ad interim untuk ASEAN, jadi dirjen, jadi staf khusus menteri, jadi duta besar di Rusia, dan sekarang sudah hampir 7 tahun jadi duta besar di Tiongkok dan Mongolia. Itu singkatnya seperti itu. Jadi anak-anak muda, bermimpilah yang besar dan kejarlah mimpi tersebut. Melalui apa? Melalui pendidikan. So you need to have a big dream, pursue your dream through education.
Wow, that's such an amazing story. And of course, if you want to pursue your dream, you have to work hard for it.
Yes, you have to work up and read a lot.
And read a lot.
Right.
Because of course, you cannot gain anything if you don't work hard for it.
You are absolutely right. And I think you've been doing that for the last few years. You are working very hard as well to put your name on the map of Indonesia. Hopefully di peta dunia juga. Shannon.
Amin. Thank you so much, Pak. May I know if you've ever dreamed about becoming an ambassador?
Yes, when I was in the high school, I would like to become diplomats. So at the end of the day, diplomats meaning that you are pursuing your career as an ambassador. So ambassador, I think diplomacy is in my DNA.
Yes.
That's why I love this job.
I see. May I know what are your jobs as the ambassador and maybe your job when you worked at the United Nations?
Yes, at the United Nations itu tempat berkumpulnya diplomat-diplomat seluruh dunia. Itu we call it multilateral. Jadi multilateral organizations consist of more than 190 countries. At the United Nations we discuss political and security issues, economic issues, socio-culture issues, legal issues. So disitulah bertemu seluruh pemimpin dunia. Setiap tahun itu ada General Assembly, sidang Majelis Umum PBB. Biasanya berlangsung antara September sampai dengan Desember, membahas semua isu global. Tujuannya apa? Tujuannya adalah agar dunia ini jauh lebih baik, damai, bisa membangun sehingga masyarakat yang masih miskin keluar dari kemiskinan, out of poverty, menjalankan hak-hak asasi mereka, hak-hak individu manusia as a human being, juga membahas isu-isu socio-culture lainnya. Nah, ini forum yang dihadiri oleh kepala-kepala negara, pemimpin-pemimpin dari negara. Selain pemimpin negara, biasanya ada dialog juga dengan civil society. Ada dialog juga dengan businessman, dengan private sector. Jadi kontribusi dari semua, we call it stakeholders. Stakeholders akan menghasilkan sesuatu yang bagus untuk dunia ini. Inilah kurang lebih yang dibahas di sana.
Okay, Pak. Now that we've heard about your success, I think the young generation would like to know, have you ever experienced failure before?
Oh yes, many.
And how did you overcome the failure?
Kegagalan itu adalah langkah untuk menuju kemajuan.
Yes.
We need to learn from our failure. So, kalau gagal, jangan pernah menyerah. Berdiri tegap lagi dan maju lagi. Belajar dari kegagalan kita. I have gone through that process since I was young, at the very early age, junior high, high school, university. Misalnya di universitas hasil kita itu jelek banget, tidak, karena kita sudah belajar pun hasilnya nggak bagus begitu. Either kita yang salah atau sistem yang salah, tapi jangan kemudian kita menyalahkan orang lain. Do not ever menyalahkan orang lain. Jangan pernah. Jangan juga menyalahkan diri kita berlebihan. Tapi kita, ini kesalahan kita karena A, B, C, D, E. Jangan lagi lakukan kesalahan itu di masa-masa yang akan datang. Belajar dari situ dan keep moving forward. Put your goals itu ada di depan and pursuing it.
Yes. Wow, I agree, Pak. See, so buat everyone yang pernah ngalamin failure, it's okay because everyone must experience failure to keep going.
Failure adalah langkah untuk maju.
Yes. And maybe lastly, Pak, do you have a message for the young generations as a closing statement?
Yes, let me say it in bahasa Indonesia.
Iya.
Negara kita ini dalam kondisi dengan fondasi yang sudah bagus untuk melangkah maju ke depan menuju Indonesia Emas 2045. 2045, it's only 21 years from now. Think about when we were 21 years ago. Think about kita saat ini. Dan pikirkan 21 tahun dari sekarang. Set the target, contribute to the development of Indonesia, and dengan kerja yang keras, kita akan tentunya diridhoi oleh Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, kita akan sampai menuju Indonesia Emas. Itu masa kalian. That's your time. And your generation's time. So prepare yourself for Indonesia Emas 2045.
Wow, thank you so much, Bapak. Yes, so for all the young generations, sebagai generasi penerus bangsa ini, we have to do our best to contribute for the future of our country. So,
let's sing.
Yes, let's sing. As a closing, actually, Bapak suggested that we sing lagu Tanah Airku.
Yeah, you sing and then I will follow you. You are the singer, I am the diplomat. So the combination of the singer and diplomat, hopefully mudah-mudahan bagus.
Pasti bagus, karena terakhir nyanyi bareng
waktu ulang tahun kan, 17 ya.
18
ya.
Yes. So let's sing lagu Tanah Airku.
You sing first, I will follow you.
Okay. Tanah air,
ku tidak kulupakan, kan terkenang selama hidupku. Biarpun saya pergi jauh, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu. Tanahku yang ku cintai, engkau ku hargai.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Bapak.
thank you.
So
Senang.
much for your time.
Happy to meet you and to sing with you.
I hope you have a safe flight back to
Thank
China.
you. Thank you very much and congratulations as a new
yes.
mahasiswa, one of the best university,
Yes.
not only in Asia and not only in Indonesia but in Asia Tenggara.
Yes.
University of Indonesia, Universitas Indonesia. Best luck to you as well.
Thank you. Hopefully I can continue my education in China.
Why not?
Also. And
Terima kasih.
And work
Thank
in
you.
United Nations like
Yes, you
this.
have to. You have to. These are good things because when I was at the United Nations, I was able to bring like 16 Indonesians to work at the United Nations.
Wow.
United Nations create opportunity as well for Indonesian. So if you some of the Indonesian anak-anak muda Indonesia sekarang itu juga bekerja di PBB. PBB itu banyak. Jadi namanya UN Systems. So you can go at the United Nations systems to include badan-badan bawahan yang ada di PBB. You can work at the Bretton Woods institutions such as World Bank, IMF, WTO, World Trade Organizations, and you can work at the regional organization as well. Apakah itu United Nations atau perbankan seperti Asian Development Bank dan lain-lain. Jadi set your target on that and then you're gonna reach it.
Amin, thank you so much. I think that is great information for the young generation. So thank you so much, Bapak. And thank you
Sama-sama.
so much buat semua yang sudah nonton. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye-bye.